So the final thing we're going to learn today is how to create a analytic dashboard. So what we're going to do now is we're still in our web project because we're going to create a web dashboard. So we're going to go back to the maintenance tab here at the top. And over here where our component is, we're going to click on that. And this time we're going to select Analytic Dashboard. And we're going to call this Orders Dashboard. I'm going to click OK. And you'll see several buttons up here at the top. Really, the only one that matters is this Dashboard Designer. So I'm just going to click on that. And that opens the design tool. So the first thing we need to do is connect it to our database. So I'm going to click on Data Source and Edit Connection. And it knows that this is a SQL Server and this is my SQL Server name. And you can use SA here. You can use just somebody that has valid credentials. I'm going to use our standard WiSys username that we use. And so once I'm connected, I'm going to click Add Query. And I am going to, I think that was the last thing I pasted. Yep. I'm going to paste in my same SQL query that I've been using the entire time. Only this time, because I'm building a dashboard, I want to see the status of all my orders. So I'm just going to comment out this where clause here so that I get all of the orders that I'm looking for, all of the statuses and not just the booked orders. So I'm going to hit next and finish. And now you can see it has exposed the list of fields from our query to us to do things with. So if I go back to home up here at the top, these are all the choices of things that I can add to my dashboard. So let's create a pie chart so that we can look at the number of orders that we have by ship via code. So very similar to what I created in the grid, where by adding the group by, I ended up grouping in and then adding a count. We can do the same thing here, only this time in a pie chart. So I'm going to find my order number because we're just counting the number of orders, and I'm going to make that the value. So see where it says order number and count. And so the argument for my pie chart is going to be our ship via code. So I'm going to add that to the argument. And there, in less than 2 minutes, I just created a pie chart that shows me the breakdown of all of my orders and by ship via code. Now this doesn't look very pretty. So again, we can do a few things to pretty it up. I'm just going to right click here and I'm going to say edit names. So this little pies one up here in the left hand corner, I'm going to change that to orders by ship via. And then I'm just going to change this to say orders. Click OK, and it makes it look nicer. So let's say that you don't want to see the percent of orders. You want to see the actual quantity of orders that make up the LTL. To do that, you come up here under Design, and you hit Data Labels. And instead of argument and percent, we're going to pick argument and value. And it switched it from a percentage to show that it's now 1.29K. Now, if you hover over it, it still shows you the percentage. But really, 1.29K is not really very helpful. So I'd like that to be the actual number itself. So to do that, I'm going to come over here under orders and I'm click this little down arrow here. And I'm going to hit format. And instead of auto, I'm going to pick that it's a number because I know it's a number. In the unit, I'm going to pick ones. And then the precision, I don't need decimals because it's whole numbers. Set that to 0 and click OK. And now I get the fact that there's 1,293 LTL orders. So let's add one more order component to our dashboard. So I'm going to go back to home. And let's add a chart. Automatically splits it. You could drag this down below it if you wanted to put it top and bottom, but I think it looks just fine off to the side. So again, we get our opportunity to use our data to set as value. So again, we're going to use order numbers as what we're counting. And then we want to see orders by status. So let's make the status the argument. And now we can see that we have 3,300 orders in the status 1. We have 9 orders that have been invoiced but not posted. So, but you really don't know that this thing across the bottom here is telling us that it's status. So let's go back to design and click on X-axis. And then we're going to check the box here that says show title and apply that and say okay. And then again, it's in 2.7K, so we can do the same thing that we did last time and select format and switch this to a number in ones and no decimals. And we get 767. So we get the numbers. And again, you can do the same thing as before. You can either pick edit names up here on the ribbon bar, or I believe you can right click again and say edit names. And instead of chart 1, we can say orders by status. Click OK. And that makes it look a little nicer. So just like that, we've created our own dashboard. I'm going to hit apply and OK. And apply and OK again here. And then we can drag this to our menu. Now, every time you add a new component, you have to give rights to be able to see it. So we're going to go back to Agility Explorer, File, Options, and then to our user access again. Same spot as we were before, Roles. Go to the Agility Web tab, and then go over to Components. And then if we collapse this, we can see our DS webinar group that we created here. And we'll notice that the dashboard that I just created isn't there. So now we can hit the checkbox here and OK. Minimize Agility Explorer, bring our browser back up, and pick our dashboard. And see our orders.